This is a question I get asked quite often, and I think it's worth discussing where personal branding and entrepreneurship are concerned. Is it worth it having a famous founder attached to a brand? Should you build a business that has a face that is the founder? Let's talk about it. Hi guys, I'm Lekau, the voice of marketing and your friend in all things marketing, brand building, business mindset, and sometimes pop culture. So I saw from the Lekau video and the engagement on the Lekau video that a lot of you are enjoying the content where I speak on pop culture and then I give it a marketing twist similar to what I do on my TikTok page. I even saw that with the Nara Smith video. So I'm listening to you guys and I will keep giving you more of these because this is what you'd like from this channel. I still don't have a name for these sessions that we're having on my YouTube channel, but just know that we're working on a name. And in the meantime, you can always rely on this channel to be your source of marketing, branding news, and pop culture. So let's talk about the pros and cons of having a famous founder for a business. In fact, whether I'm speaking at a corporate, training a corporate team, training a small business team, giving a keynote, one of the things I get asked quite often is, Lebu, should I have a famous founder for my business? Should I be the famous founder for my business? Is it more lucrative to have a face for the company? How do we navigate through this space? And I said, okay, let's talk about it because it is something that a lot of people are conflicted with from a business perspective on a daily basis. So is it wise to have a founder who's also the face of a business, a founder who's also famous and carries through the business? I don't think there's a clear-cut yes or no for this question because it depends on many factors that a lot of people don't want to consider. If you do want to go the route of famous founder, you need to be the kind of founder who has the characteristics of somebody who could be a famous founder. And a lot of people just assume that because it's working for 5 people, they're going to be the 6th person that it works for. And it does not work like that. If you're not fit for it or if you're not meant to be a famous founder, it's going to show in your results. No matter how long you continue to do this thing, it's not going to work. So you need to be mindful of the fact that there are certain criteria you have to meet in order to become a famous founder. You can develop that criteria, but you do need to have it or build it over time for you to be able to embody a famous founder. So what are some of these criteria? The first thing you need to have if you want to be a famous founder is you need to be a visionary. You need to have a vision that is so deep, so passionate, so big that people want to buy into it.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
That's usually the fuel that keeps the founder going, the fuel that makes people believe in them. If you want to create those evangelists for your business and your brand, you want people to really buy into the story and take the product or offering and buy as many units as possible, you need to have a vision. A vision inspires people. A vision allows you to be a leader. Without a vision, you don't have a stance. And without a stance, we don't know what you stand for, so we cannot be a part of you. We don't know if what you're building is for us or not for us. So the first thing a famous founder has to have is a delusional vision. You need to be a visionary. You need to believe so much in what you're doing that you're willing to put everything on the line to make it a reality. The second thing that you need to have as a famous founder is confidence. Because you are public facing, because you are leading people, because you are executing a vision, people need to believe that you believe in what you're selling them, that you believe in this organization and the brand. And that can only be done if you have confidence. I think a lot of people misconstrue confidence for being better than other people, having more than other people, or just an egotistical display of existence. And that's not what confidence is. In leadership and in personal branding, confidence is having the ability to inspire others by your belief in what you do, right? And it's deeply rooted for you in the fact that you believe that what you're doing is valuable and necessary for society. So it doesn't matter what other people may say, you're still going to be confident and very sure that the thing should exist, that it should happen, that it matters, that it's a good thing. And that's what makes you confident as a leader. It's that being so sure. It's that thing of being very sure that whatever you're doing matters, it should exist, and it's valuable. It's not about being louder than other people. It's not about being egotistical. It's not about having material things. It's just about a very deep knowing and a very deep suredness that you're so sure. If I don't even know if the suredness is a word, but it's just about being so sure about something that it guides you through things. The third thing that you need as a famous founder is charisma. Now, and again, a concept like charisma dribbles a lot of people because they think charisma, once again, is being flamboyant and loud and funny. No, all of us have different personalities. All of us have different character. It's about your ability to be that fully and then communicate it to other people so they know what you stand for, they know what you're like, and they understand how you navigate through things, right? So it's almost like the trademark of the vibe that you bring to things. That's your charisma, right? So some people might be nerds who are really intelligent and they really quiet and intense, and that's their charisma. When you're around them, you know the room is going to be deep and intense, but it's so cool because that's how they are, and they only wear black t-shirts, and that's how it is. And there could be somebody else who's just so funny and they know how to grab a crowd and they have a big bright smile and they wear nice outfits. So your charisma can be many things. It doesn't have to be what another person's charisma is. There's no one way to have charisma. There are many ways, but you do have to have almost like a vibe branding. That's what I would call charisma, so that people understand what you're about in your energy, what you're about in the energy you're bringing to a room. The fourth thing that a famous founder needs to have is good communication skills, right? Because you're going to be speaking on behalf of the brand quite often. So you need to A, know how to speak to people, B, know how to win people over, and C, know how to read the room so that you understand the dynamics and you know how to behave in certain spaces. The face of a business, a famous founder does a lot of selling for the brand. They affect the brand sentiment. So they need to know how to communicate and have really good communication skills. The fourth or the fifth thing, I'm not too sure which number we're on, is that a famous founder needs to have a very high IQ. You need to understand people. I cannot stress this enough. Right now, if you're building a business that's going to be successful, or you have a successful business, you know that because of social media, the world is incredibly transparent. In other words, a lot of people's businesses out there, a lot of company businesses out there, you need to be somebody who understands how people think and behave. You need to know how to navigate through those kinds of situations and spaces with ease, right? And having a high EQ helps you do that. Now, a lot of the time when I say high EQ, people think that you need to be compassionate and kind. And you don't actually have to do that. There are lots of narcissistic people with narcissistic traits who tend to be leaders who have a high EQ. They understand people and they know how to participate in that. They understand how people feel, they understand how people use their emotions, and they know how to play that game. So when I say high EQ, I'm not saying that you need to be a good person or a nice person. I'm just saying you need to have a very deep understanding of people, their emotions. Do you know how to navigate through that? Do you know how to react to that? Do you know how to facilitate environments where you can control that? It sounds really dark, and it is a little bit dark, but really that's what it is. And you get some leaders who use their EQ for good and others who will use it for bad. But you do need to have a very high EQ so that you know how to interact with people, especially in a social media era where you don't even have control over half of the stuff that goes out about your brand based on your behavior. You don't even know who's filming you or recording you. So how you're behaving, how you make people feel, how you interact in rooms, that's going to matter. And your ability to know why people are angry, why they want to cancel you, and knowing how to navigate that is going to matter. Right? So those are the characteristics that you need to be a famous founder. There are other characteristics, but I feel that those are some of the most important characteristics. And that's why some people can be a famous founder and some people can't. And that is okay. Will your business thrive if you have a great famous founder? Absolutely. When living in a highly digital world, all of us are overstimulated and we feel like so many things are being sold to us. Having a famous founder breaks that wall, that technology wall, that business wall, and it makes a person feel like they're interacting with another person. And that is gold. Business is a people-to-people affair. You guys hear me say this all the time. So companies that are able to humanize as much as possible are the ones who are going to win in a world where we're becoming more separated, where we're living alone, where, you know, it's getting harder to date, where we're not trusting organizations anymore. Having a famous founder who's a great face for the business is going to change the game from a sales perspective, from a brand building perspective. Another pro of having a famous founder is that they help build brand. If you've got a famous founder who understands people, who is believable, who has charisma and all those other things that I mentioned, they help the brand grow. Through them and them being famous and them being liked, people automatically assume that that person's characteristics are also the characteristics of a brand. And so that helps the brand grow, that helps the brand sentiment grow, and it's a really wonderful situation for the entire brand. Also, what you get from having a famous founder that you don't necessarily get when you just have a product-led brand is that you get trust from people that you wouldn't get if you were just a brand, product-led brand, right? So what I mean by this is you'll even find that people who want to work for you will want to work for the company because they're inspired by the leader. You find that investors who want to invest in the business want to invest because of that person. And that makes them feel like it's a safer company to invest in because no one's lying, nothing is being hidden. The founder's there in full view, so it's a great thing, right? However, the same things that I have mentioned as perks can also be disadvantages. So let's look at it, right? If you have a famous founder and he's got a whole lot of charisma and he's got personality, that's wonderful. But if his values and perspectives are a little bit too radical, then it can put people off as well. So that can also have a really bad implication and repercussions for your brand. And so you want a leader who's got a very sober mind and is palatable for society a lot of the time, unless you're the kind of company that knows how to work with controversy and that kind of thing. If you know how to have a founder like a Kanye West, then you're fine. Then you will be fine with somebody who's not easy to predict because you have a team that knows how to navigate that. But for the average business, they don't have those kinds of PR skills. So you would rather have a founder who's pretty level-headed, who has good family values and fits the society that you operate in. The second con would be the reputational risk, right? So if your founder has a scandal, for example, or they do something bad, that reputational risk is going to have an impact on your business. People are going to feel like whatever bad thing that person did is a reflection of the company and the brand. For example, now that Lekau's wife has spoken out, she's positioned him as an abuser, an absent father, and a greedy businessman who lies. So as a woman, I look at the brand and I think, this brand hates women. I don't want to be part of this, and I'm going to cancel the brand. Not because the shoe was defective, not because the actual brand has done anything wrong, but the person who's the face represents something that we cannot stand for, and we believe that because he represents that and he represents the brand must also represent that, so we don't want to wear it. That's the problem. It's the reputational risk. The founder's life is tied to the business's life. So if you also want to have a famous founder, make sure their life is vanilla. It's the safest way, right? You can have founders who have exciting lives, who are doing some crazy things, but then you need the PR team to help you back that up and tell the right stories, because if you don't have that, it can be a disaster for the company. The third disadvantage of having a famous founder is that once that founder does not want to be associated with the brand value goes down. So if you had a famous founder for a long time, then you change the board or something happens and they fire that founder, or whatever the case may be, that could also impact how people want to invest in the brand, how customers want to buy, and the future prospects of the brand. Because people automatically assume that the greatness of the brand was created by that founder. So if he's not there, then he's not putting his magic into the business, therefore the business will not thrive. And so it becomes very tricky to distance the founder from the brand once you have a founder-led brand. And that's why you have to be so careful when you are creating a brand, that if you want to go the founder-led route, that you have somebody who's extremely reliable, who's got a high IQ, who's got good values, and who's accountable, and who you can rely on will not put you in the kinds of scandals that could completely destroy your brand. Because it's one thing to be in a scandal because you ate 5 burgers in one sitting versus being in a scandal because you abuse your wife. Those are 2 different things. So I'm hoping that from all the points that I've made in this video, that you're able to identify parts from Lekau's wife's video where she speaks about his character, and you see how that could have a really bad impact on Drip's brand, right? It's not personal, guys. It's not personal. The things I'm saying are not personal. I'm speaking from a marketing and branding perspective. Even the share price of Drip shares, if he has them, will go down because of the scandals, right? He's gonna have to go on a very big media campaign to show that Drip as a business is still solid. He's going to do that deny and lie strategy that they love to use in PR so much, where he acts like whatever his wife said didn't even happen, and he's just gonna talk about the company, how great the company is, the help that the company needs. He won't acknowledge her, and in doing that, he's making sure that people don't remember the story, and he's not associating with the rumors because he's not addressing them. So that is one of the best ways to do it, I guess, if you want to go that route from a PR perspective. However, if the noise is loud enough from Lebohang's camp, from Lekau's wife's camp, and from the general public, then eventually he will have to address the rumors, because if he does not address these allegations, what happens is it makes him seem like he's not an accountable, honest human being. Because if these things were not true, then he would say something. And if they are true, he would fix it, right? But at the moment, with him just pretending like they don't exist, is not only gaslighting his wife, but it's gaslighting society. He's saying, I don't care enough about society to right my wrongs or to create clarity. A good leader and a good founder-led brand always creates clarity, because clarity creates trust in a relationship. And when you have a founder-led brand, you're building a relationship with your audience, and they feel so tied to you that when you do bad things, they are heartbroken, they are devastated, and they're going to cancel your brand. They'll be less forgiving because they assumed you were a good person. And so when they get an inkling that you're not, it completely destroys their confidence in you. Which is why when you have a founder-led brand, you need to have a very heavy investment in PR, so that you make sure that the person who's the face of your brand, the founder of the brand, also is in alignment with the values of the business and the growth and the vision of the business. I personally believe that right now Lekau is employing what we call a flying monkeys strategy in PR, where you're accused of doing something wrong, you don't acknowledge it, then you have other people who are influential and have power who will validate that nothing is happening by shining a spotlight on you and your business, and either showing how great you are or how much of a victim you are to certain business things that are happening, and how much help you may need, how much support you may need, or how much celebration you may need. So when we're even watching these videos about narcissists and how they move, or people with narcissistic traits, they also play out in business. The fact that we have some ministers, etc., business leaders saying, we think that Drip needs business rescue, etc., is them also not confronting the fact that as a brand, Drip is a very volatile brand. How can they be expecting country resources to go to somebody who can barely pay for child maintenance or take his child to school? What kind of values are these ministers and leaders trying to say they support? What kind of business people are they trying to see in the South African economy? And why are they okay with these allegations? If I was a minister or a business leader, I would want full investigations about the allegations made against Lekau before I even have the audacity to disrespect South African citizens by saying that we need to fund him, government resources need to go to him, company resources need to go to him because, oh my God, Drip is such a big company and it's doing so much for the community. No. We cannot have toxic leadership and companies that have a toxic company culture being part of our ecosystem. And let me tell you, if you've got a toxic founder, they have toxic leadership traits, and that will permeate into the organization. So we should not allow ministers and leaders to be flying monkeys who allow narcissistic leaders or leaders who have narcissistic traits to continue to gaslight society. We cannot keep making it okay for people like that to have businesses that get funding, that get money, that get rescue. No, your character needs to be a prerequisite for funding, and that's usually how it is. So I'm surprised that in South Africa we're doing it a bit differently, that we have bias. It could be because of misogyny and patriarchy, I don't know, because if Lekau was a woman who owned Drip and she had a sex scandal, or she had an allegations from her husband saying that she's abusive, they would not even be talking about rescuing her business. They'd be talking about the state of leadership in South Africa and trying to discipline entrepreneurs and infantilize them with lectures about how they need to do business and how their brands matter. So the fact that Lekau is not getting this is also a testament to what his wife was saying when she said, he says he knows powerful people and they'll do what he wants. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is everything coming to fruition. Here it is in full display of the country, and for me it's just a big fat shame. I'm disappointed in all of the leaders who are backing him without proof, who are not acknowledging what his wife said, and who are not making this an example for other future leaders to understand that their characters are also part and parcel of the companies that they're building, especially if they make the risky decision of having a personal brand that leads the brand, so a founder-led personal brand. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Are you a founder-led brand? And what are the disadvantages and advantages that you have experienced from doing this? Would you recommend it to other people? Personally, I would not recommend it. I know the benefits, but I believe that a business that can thrive regardless of the leadership structures or who the face is really does much better over the long run, and it's much easier to scale that business because it's not dependent on that founder being alive or present for things to run. So if you're thinking about scaling, if you're thinking about building big for a long period of time, I wouldn't do the founder-led strategy. And if I did, it would be for a very short period of time. I would not make that the anchor of what we do forever, because I feel like it will limit your ability to scale over time. Thank you guys for tuning in again. I hope I answered your questions from what you asked me in the previous video, and let me know what else you'd like me to cover, which other topics you'd like me to cover, because there's so much happening in our country and there's so much we can learn from a business and marketing and branding perspective and pop culture perspective, and I'd love to be your friend in all of that. So guys, don't forget to go on all my social media pages, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere, YouTube. Subscribe, like, follow, comment. Let's get this community growing. I am so humbled by all of your support thus far. I'm even going to post a Metro FM conversation that I had on Kutu Teledi's show a couple of days ago. It's a bit controversial, but you know that I like to speak facts. I like to speak truths that maybe some people aren't ready to hear, but we need to start speaking about. So follow me on the socials at @LabelLion_SA, lion like the animal. One day when we get to 100,000 subscribers, I will let you know why my name is Lion. But until then, please remember that the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Stay safe, be warm, and be great. I love you all. Mwah.